What if I told you that a pen and paper could be your most powerful tools for growth, healing, and success? Stick around for 5 life-changing habits that you can start right now. We will cover how to use journaling for grounding, mindset shifts, manifestation, shadow work, and the best ways to make journaling a daily habit. So let's talk about journaling for grounding purposes. There are times where your brain is just so overwhelmed, just so full of thoughts, just so feeling stuck because you can't actually think. This is when you're going to journal for the grounding purposes. How do we do this? We do it by free writing. And what does free writing allow us to do? It allows us to get past that mental barrier that is literally keeping all your thoughts contained in almost a box. So when we get the pen and paper out, we just start writing, word vomiting, and getting everything out that we need to get out in order to get past the mental barrier. Here's why this helps. Free writing allows your brain to go into a natural flow, a natural state, and it helps you to start untangling the mess of things that are going on. Let me give you a few examples. Overwhelming thoughts can create a mental loop where you keep worrying about the same stresses, the same ideas over and over again, and it's just on repeat and replay and you can't stop it. Writing these thoughts down helps your brain to actually release them and actually stops the loop, so that way it's just cut and then it begins to fade away. Also a way for your brain to just process any of the anxiety and emotions that are attached to those thoughts and ideas. Mental barriers are also caused when thoughts and emotions are jumbled and feel unmanageable. Free writing untangles the mess and makes it easy to identify the root of the problem. Imagine it like a dirty room, like a kid's room, or just if you have a junk room or even a junk drawer. You can't really understand and make clear of everything that's in there until you start pulling it out and, seeing everything separately. Journaling gives you that same ability. I've also mentioned how free writing allows a natural flow of thoughts. This is really important because it taps into the subconscious, revealing feelings or ideas that you might not even been aware of. Why does this work? Because free-flowing thoughts allows us to be detached from whatever is going on, and when we're in that detached state, we're not worried so much about the outcome and we allow more room for growth and understanding in the situation. Free writing can help you get past those mental barriers, and there are still 4 more habits that we need to talk about, the last one being the most important. But right now at this moment, I want to focus on journaling to shift your perspective. So what does that even mean? When you're journaling to shift your perspective, think about journaling like you're talking to your friend. The point of this is for you to just tell your side of the story completely unfiltered. But instead of actually talking about it, you're just going to be writing it down. This allows you to release that pent-up emotion that you've been holding on inside of you about the situation for however long it's been, and it gives you the chance to see the situation from another perspective. So what do I mean by that? When you're talking to your friend, you just verbally vomit everything that you need to tell them about the situation, which is perfectly fine and perfectly okay. But when you're writing it in a journal, you can verbally vomit into your journal about everything you wanted to say, everything you felt and everything you feel, but then you can actually go back and read it. And why is this important? Because when you're rereading it, you can actually see it from that outside perspective. When you're rereading it, you can give yourself that chance to say, oh, I could have done better here, or oh, I could have responded this way. That outside perspective can also help you find solution where before you didn't see it. Why is that? Because when we're in the middle of it, we're always so focused on the problem that we forget that we need to find a solution. I mean, we understand that a solution is important, but our brain isn't focused on the solution. It's only focused on the problem. So when you write the problem out, a lot of times your brain just goes, okay, what's next? And it wants to focus on that solution. It wants to get you to that next stage. Why is that really important? Because when we're focusing on the problems, that is literally keeping us in a low spot. But when we're focused on the solution, that's putting us in a creative energy, and a creative energy is a higher vibration than the problem is. Journaling regularly can also help you identify behavioral patterns. Why is this important? Because if you realize that this is the 4th time in a month that you've been writing about having an argument with somebody, about taking the trash out, or about doing the dishes, you can realize, okay, why have I been doing this 4 times in a month? Your brain will kind of even remember that I've written this multiple times already, so why am I still venting about it? Why does it keep popping up? The truth is, the more you write, the more you become aware of your habits, your behaviors, your actions, and how you handle things. The more awareness you bring to yourself, the more control and accountability you can give to yourself in a way that is beneficial for you. This next habit, a lot of people talk about, but they don't tell you this one important secret. If you're journaling to manifest, it's not about just journaling like you already have it. Yes, that's a part of it, but there's so much more to it that you don't know yet. So when we're journaling to manifest, what's important is that we pay attention to our language that we're saying. Because the language that you're saying is going to be what shows your reality. When you're journaling, you give yourself a chance to just say what it is that you want to say. And you get the chance to observe the actual words that you're saying. So if you're writing, "This is too hard for me, I can't do it." Well, guess what? That's going to be your reality. This is going to be hard for you and you're going to feel like you can't do it the whole entire time. Journaling gives you that chance to see that you're actually writing those things. And instead of focusing on "this is hard and I can't do it," it allows you to reframe the word. I've scratched out and rewritten so many times when I've said "this is hard, I can't do it" to "this is a learning process for me. I feel like I'm struggling, but I will get better," or "it will get easier." And by doing that, I'm reprogramming my brain to say, "Hey, I want a different outcome and I'm manifesting a different outcome." Language is so important for manifestation, and a lot of us are unconscious about what thoughts and words are actually going through our head. Your thoughts tell your brain, "Hey, I want to see more of this." So whatever your thoughts are focused on, whatever your language is focused on, is what you're going to get. So if you're used to saying, "This is hard, I can't have it, I don't want this, they did this," if you keep going in that type of thought pattern, those things are going to constantly show up in your life, and that's all you're going to see. So let's start by changing the "I am" statements, because this is a big one. When you say "I am," you're claiming something as part of your identity. Instead of saying "I am tired," say "I feel tired." I know that sounds like semantics, but it makes a huge difference, because feelings are temporary, they're brief, they're not permanent. But saying "I am" is permanent. Your brain needs to know the difference of tired being temporary versus tired being permanent. Another important thing to understand is that your feelings are always changing, but your identity shouldn't be. Your identity is allowed to shift and evolve, but this is something that happens over time. So when you say "I am tired," "I am sad," "I am mad," "I am glad," your brain's trying to catch up with all these identity shifts. Versus if you say "I feel sad," "I feel mad," "I feel glad," then your brain is okay to understand, oh, these are temporary things that I don't need to focus on. Another way that you can really utilize manifesting with your language in journaling is when you find yourself in a really negative thought, you can change it over with affirmations. So if you're going to write something along the lines of, "I feel like success is never going to come to me, that promotion will never be there," you can cross it out and say, "Success is coming my way, the promotion will be mine that is meant for me." Whatever affirmation works for you. That wasn't the greatest example of an affirmation, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Journaling for manifestation purposes is important along with watching the language that you use, but this next one is a life-changing habit, and that is journaling for shadow work purposes. Now, what do I mean by that? We've all had something that has happened to us in our life that is hard or even traumatic that we don't feel comfortable talking about with friends and family. Maybe it's something that we've never even really acknowledged. Journaling gives you the chance to practice talking about that event, whatever it was, in a safe environment. And this isn't even something that you did on purpose. Your brain purposely tries to block out those really painful things that happen. It's a protective mechanism that our brains do naturally. So when you want to talk about it or you clam up every time you think about it, that is honestly your brain protecting yourself from the event. Unfortunately, though, that doesn't help you release and grow, because the thing is, until that trauma or that hard event, whatever it is actually processed, it's going to continue to fester and it's going to manifest itself into other ways. If you're me, that traumatic event manifested itself into me having blackouts as a 10-year-old and sleeping for 22 hours a day. Now, yes, that is an extreme example, but that is the reality of what unprocessed trauma can do to a body. So when I'm asking you to work through whatever this is, it's not just because I want you to relive those experiences. The truth is, we have to process those experiences so that we can heal. So take your time with it. If you can only write a sentence or two and then you have to start crying, do it. If you can only make it 3 sentences and it gets really too much for you and you need to stop, that's fine. There's no wrong way to journal through trauma or hard events. The only thing that matters is that you're working on getting further and further every time you try to journal about whatever this event is. Give yourself grace through the whole thing. If you get angry and you decide to just scream at the top of your lungs, that's fine. Do that. I mean, you might concern if there's any family members around you, but still, do what you need to in the moment while you're journaling. If you're a person who dreads confrontation, this is a really good way for you to practice feeling confident in what you're saying and what you want to talk about. It doesn't guarantee that when you get up there to the person and you begin to tell them what's going on, that you're going to have the same confidence that you do in your journaling, but it does give you the practice that you need, so that way when you might have the struggle, you might freeze up, your brain will just kind of go in autopilot because you've already journaled about it, you've already talked about it, and you'll get to the point of what you need to say. The 4 habits I've talked about so far are game changers, but it's this last one that makes the biggest difference. And that is you making journaling a non-negotiable thing. It's just as important to you as brushing your teeth every morning. It's just as important to you as taking that shower. Journaling is something that you will need to do on a regular basis in order for it to be the life-changing thing that you're hoping for. So what can you do to make this an easy habit for you to do? First, let's get you the right journal. Not all journals have to look like this. They don't have to be pretty little journals. The best journal, honestly, for me, is something that I can get a tea stain on or that I can ruin. That's my purse journal or my binder. This is what's in the thumbnail. This is me having the most freedom and ability to be able to write whatever I want to write. If you're too worried about writing in your journal because you don't want to mess it up because it's too pretty, because these thoughts don't belong in there, that's not the right journal for you. So let's start off by finding the journal that is right for you. Again, if you can be comfortable with it getting a tea stain, if you can be comfortable with it getting a coffee stain, that's the right journal for you. That's the one you need to use on a daily basis in order to get the most out of journaling. Have multiple journals. You don't have to have one set journal for one thing and one set journal for the other thing. Journals can be used for multiple purposes too. What matters is that you actually use it. So don't get caught up in, oh, this is a divination journal, or oh, this is a habit tracking journal, or oh, use the journal for whatever purposes you need. Journal for whatever you need, and don't get caught up in journaling right or having it be perfect or have it be the right journal. Just freaking write in whatever you need to with pen and paper. To make journaling a more regular habit, pick a time of day that works for you, that you can do consistently. Do you have 5 extra minutes in the morning that you can journal? Do you have 5 extra minutes at the end of the day that you can journal? Maybe you can journal on your lunch break. If you have a long lunch break, like an hour lunch break, that's plenty of time for you to journal. Just take 5 to 10 minutes with your journal and, actually work at it. Now, does it have to be at the same time every day? No, but doing it at the same time every day makes it more of a habit and helps you to get into more of that non-negotiable state. Know that journaling is mental exercise. It's just like going to the gym. If you only journal once or twice ever, you're not going to get much out of it. If you journal 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to get more out of it. If you journal every day, you're going to get the most out of it. Just like going to the gym. Go to the gym 2 or 3 times in your life, not going to get much out of it. Gym 2 to 3 times a week, you're going to get a lot out of it. Gym almost daily, you're going to get the most out of it. Journaling on a regular basis really does make a difference, and it really does help accelerate that spiritual growth that you're looking for. If these journaling habits inspired you, let me know in the comments which one you're most excited to try first. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips. And if you're looking for more habits to enhance your spiritual practice, go ahead and click on this video, and I'll see you then.